You and me both.
We're live. I am so excited. Welcome to this week's Give Voice to Your Vision, where we stop the spinning wheel and we get real, so it is clarity we feel. I have a dear friend and amazing coaching industry leader to share with you today. Melinda Cohan is here, and she is the co-founder and CEO of Coaches Console. I know those of you who are in the coaching community already probably know Melinda and the brilliance that she's been sharing for, I'll let you say how long, in the coaching industry. And she has a new book coming out. That's so exciting. And so today she's joining us for this live conversation about growing your coaching business. Welcome, Melinda.
Thank you, Michelle. It's so good to be here. And I've been doing this for 17 years. We celebrated 17 years this past spring. So I've gotten to the point where I can't remember when I didn't do this. It's like my normal way of being. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And it's so timely right now. The world has changed so much over that time. And we're talking today to share some insider secrets to grow your thriving coaching business. And coaching is exploding for so many reasons. It's always been, for more than a decade, I think it's been a really expanding industry. But right now, with all the changes in the world and all the people saying, hey, wait a minute, what is this thing we're doing here on the planet? I think it's an incredible, it's exploding. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Even
for sure.
more.
I've always seen coaches as the people, that folks turn to navigate their life. And over the last 3-4 years, the world, the global issues that have been coming up, the world has just been going through a lot of transformation, and people need help. I liken it to, like, if you're walking through a maze, you can kind of figure that out by yourself. But if you walk through the maze blindfolded, like, you have to have a guide. And that's what feels like the last pre-pandemic, the few years before the
Yep.
pandemic, was like
Yep.
people had blindfolds trying to figure out the maze. They kind of needed the help.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pandemic came, it's like if you're walking through the maze, you're blindfolded and the walls are moving constantly. Like, you cannot navigate it yourself. Things are too chaotic. Things are changing so quickly. And the pandemic really caused a lot of people to question the quality of life, quality of relationship, quality of career, quality of everything. And just like, wait, what do I want to do here? But they don't know how to make those changes. And we are the people that folks are turning to. We are those leaders. And
Yeah.
now it's like we were born for this time right here.
I love that so much. And I know there's so many people in my community who have that called feeling, who feel this calling. And so whether you've been a coach for a while, if you're already growing that coaching business, so many of the people here are already growing their coaching business, they feel the urgency and the acceleration and like, wait a minute, I got to get this dialed up. I need my business to be more stable, have more underneath me, have more momentum, have more revenue, because that stable business is what's going to allow you to help reach and serve more people. And then I think there's a whole bunch of people who've had that called feeling who are finally like, wait a minute, I got to do something. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to have you, because you are an incredible resource to have you. I have you all to myself.
Be greedy.
To have you with us here, because you have an incredible wealth of knowledge and expertise. I'm excited to get into some of those things. We're talking today, and we're going to share some of the insider secrets to grow your thriving coaching business. And I love to emphasize this one thing, Melinda, before we dive in, that your thriving business, your amply generating revenue and enrolling and re-enrolling clients is the manifestation of your calling. It is the way to reach and serve more people. So many people I know feel the calling and we just want to help, but you are a finite resource. So we have here with us today someone who knows how to grow and scale a coaching business. And maybe you don't want to have an 8-figure business or a 7-figure business, but I've been having a conversation here in this community that, like, that 6-figure coaching business is exhausting. That
Well, it
six-figure
can
coaching
be,
business
depending,
can
yeah,
be
it
if
can
you
be.
don't have take your business seriously and have the tools and the support and generate the revenue that you need in order to run it sustainably. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited for our
Yeah.
conversation today.
You know, you just said something really interesting. You talked about having a stable business, right? And I know a lot of people that are listening in, maybe they're not brand new, but they've been at this a while. And so it's really interesting because stable doesn't mean stationary. Stable means innovative. And one of the
Has to be.
things it has to be, because the moment you stop innovating and just really get into the wash, rinse, repeat, be very, very aware. And one of the things that I saw over the last year, those people that were able to say, what do I need to do to stay relevant to my people, to best serve my people and help them get results in their changing world? And those that could answer that question, tweak some things, and it doesn't have to be dramatic changes or radical changes or huge pivots even, but you may have to make some adjustments. So rarely is it a marketing issue or a sales issue. It's usually a business issue, a behind the scenes issue, so that you're free to take advantage of those opportunities so that you can innovate in the right ways. That's what creates a stable, a steady, consistent business.
We could go right down in the well of that. I'm like, can we have coffee? I love that. I want to serve the entire audience. Anita Freeman is here saying hiya in the comments. Thanks for saying hi. If you're here, let us know. And I'm going to be doing my best to check the comments. We're in a few different places. So if you have questions, please let us know. And I'll be circling back to make sure you get the information and answers and get connected with Melinda's got some amazingness for us today to share. So can we jump in? One of the things that I've been reading this amazing, wish I had it 8 years ago. I mean, I've been mentoring and coaching for about 30 years, but I didn't have a coaching business until about 8 years ago. And I wish I'd had this book, and I'm so glad I have it now. We're going to give you a way to download this book for free, to access this book for free just for a couple of days. So stay tuned. If you want the book, let us know in the comments. We're going to give you the link. And so you have something inside. One of the things that I really liked what I was reading was this idea of the coach approach.
Yeah.
The coach approach to business. Will you talk with us about that?
Yeah, it's, as coaches, we have these inherent skills that I could go through all the list of coaching skills, but when we usually only leverage those skills with our clients. But one of the things in my research over the past 17 years, my natural approach to business, and then working with all the thousands of coaches that we've worked with, when we can bring those coaching skills to enrollment conversations, to our list building, to nurturing our audience, to the way we ask for money or provide exquisite client support or treat our referrals, when we can bring that coach approach to that, business is easier. We don't, but what happens, and I talk about this in chapter 5 in my book. I think it's chapter 5. Hang on. I think it's chapter 5. When we talk about that, yeah, it is. The world talks about and has taught us this masculine approach to business. And I don't mean male, I mean masculine. Strategies, systems, structure, logistics, plans,
tactics,
executed. Yeah, those tangible types of thing. And just about everywhere in the world, that's what people understand business to be. And usually people kind of go for it, success at all cost, whatever it is.
Right. Push, push, push.
Right.
Yeah.
Go slay the dragon, work
Beat
your
the
fingers
pavement.
to the bone.
I was an actor for 30 years in New York, so we had to beat the pavement.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So that kind of thing. So that's been this idea of business, which is not appealing to entrepreneurs, especially as coaches who are creatives, nurturers, We operate in a very different part of our brain and heart and emotions and intuition, vulnerability. Like those are our superpowers. That's what comes natural to us. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't want to have to be that because that feels yucky. That goes against my natural being. And so if we just stay in that creative, nurturing, loving, caring, intuitive spot, and ignore that, we don't get results. We have a hobby. It feels good. We're doing some good work in the world, but we can't have sustainable growth, sustainable success. And so the coach approach blends all of that together. It's not swinging in one direction or the
Mm.
other direction and going to the extremes, because I think either of those are unproductive. But where
Not
we
the
can
most
make that
effective for sure, right? It
not the
needs a
most
balance.
effective. Right.
Mhm.
And so it's that meeting in the middle of blending the masculine and the feminine, right? Having the structure. Just a hard example, the number one way to grow your list in the coaching industry is still that lead magnet, that free downloadable resource
For
that
sure.
you provide value, establish trust, nurture through messages or different ways you interact with them until they're ready to make a decision, and you can help them make that educated decision. So we need the opt-in page, we need the document, we need the autoresponders, we need the technology, we need the timing, we need that structure while we infuse those messages with heart, while we give our branding the creative nurturing that it needs, while we're in. So it requires both along every gamut of business. We have to bring both. We can't be afraid of one or the other. It's a both and situation.
I love it. You said one of my favorite words, or one of the hot topics in my world, which is afraid, right? I would think that many of us that are called also come with this equal measure of it's not safe, or who am I to, or all that kind of stuff that we're also navigating. And that can, I think, impact the business decisions that we make and the
Yeah.
challenges that we have around how we go all in, deciding to invest in ourselves, deciding to make that commitment and that decision to the business. And so I would love to, another of my favorite takeaways from your book so far, I haven't quite finished, but I will. The good stuff's probably right at the end that I'm looking for. I
The
can't
last
wait.
two chapters are really good. I,
I
I
know I'm
do. Some of
I'm
my
I'm in.
favorite.
I'm in. So but you talk about three things that you must master to grow
Mm,
your coaching business. So I was wondering if you would share those with us.
yeah. So when you just make that decision to not be a hobbyist or just kind of dabble in it, you're like, nope, this I'm going to do this. You have to
Can I
master the.
ask
Yeah.
interject one thing? There's this other place too where we're like, if you build it, they will come. Right? And we need
Yeah.
that decision to actually make it a business, because the if
Yeah.
you build it, they will come. It was a great movie. We all loved it. There's an energetic component of standing in who you are and attracting clients,
Yeah.
but it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm here I am world, right?
Right. Well, that's another great example of the masculine feminine, right?
Yeah.
That is a very energetic, emotional, spiritual, intangible faith, trust type of approach, which trust me, my whole business is built on it.
Yeah.
And so
The
there
best
is,
businesses are
right. I
with.
mean, mine came to me, I wrote it on a napkin. From that napkin, I grew a multi-million-dollar business. So that is real. You
It
cannot
is.
ignore it. And if you only do that, you're only bringing the feminine elements to what you do.
Yeah.
It's just going to sit there, and people may encounter it, they may not. And when you make that commitment to say, I want to have that vision and have a business, both and, then you bring in the masculine, the logistics, the systems, the structures, the processes, that which brings it to reality. It doesn't mean that you doubt your vision or that you're bad spiritually. It just means you're both and you're leveraging all of you to bring in service of your gifts to the
I
world.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So important.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
the three things
3
that you
things.
must master, you must master the skills of coaching, right? The skill set, like it is our inherent, we are usually born with this. Somebody doesn't say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go get a job as a coach. That'll be a good job for me to have. Not ever have I heard anybody say that, but
Yeah.
it's usually a calling, like you were saying earlier. It's something we do naturally without thinking, but we have to master the skills of it. We can't just go and wing it saying, oh, I'm born to do this. We have to be responsible with our gifts. So you have to master the skills and hone your skills. It's a never ending evolution for those
Yeah.
that you're serving, right?
Ongoing,
Yeah.
continued support, continued encouragement, continued training and
Yeah.
insights and all of those things. Absolutely. I love that.
The second one, you've got to master the skills of marketing. You have to, and marketing is just how do you let your light shine in the presence of others? Is really all it is.
That's what we do here in my world. How do
Right.
I show up and sing my song in
Yeah.
my way and also attract clients, right?
Yep. So you've got to master those skills of marketing. How do you generate awareness? How do you nurture them? And again, the coach approach, it's what we do naturally. We just have to do it intentionally. So you have to master those skills. And then you
And
also have to
becoming highly
master,
visible, right?
you,
Is stepping into that high
yeah,
visibility and being willing to stand in the ownership and the leadership and say, this is, I'm open for business.
yeah,
All of those things fall into the marketing category for
exactly.
sure.
Exactly. Letting your light shine, being visible, which took me, oh, I don't know, my entire life of learning and working with.
I
And then,
still find little ways that I'm like shying down or playing a little bit small. I think it's an ongoing, it's an expansive universe, right? So all
yeah,
of these things, these three things, we continue to evolve and expand into. If you're not expanding, you're contracting, right?
right.
So I love that you shared that. Thank you. That it's been a journey for you. This whole like stepping in and embracing. I think for coaches, we really are in many ways the voice and the face of our brand, and that becomes a highly magnetic way to attract people. And so I love the whole idea of business as my calling as my own personal expansion. And I think that I love that you just said we have to keep expanding into that
Yeah.
because we don't get done. And it goes back to what you were saying about being innovative. So this applies in the skills that we're bringing to the business as well.
Yeah. And, for me, I'm an introvert.
Me too,
Invisibility
believe it or
was
not.
my thing that I battled forever. And being visible was so not easy for me. Uh,
Vulnerable.
yeah. And so I have, over just the last several years, embracing my vulnerability as my superpower,
100%.
embracing my transparency as my superpower. The more that I can do that, the more I model for my clients and my audience how to just show up as a human being in life
Right.
with whatever's happening, right? And so yeah, I've been doing this 17 years. I've done thousands of webinars, live events, workshops, master classes. I mean, I'm putting myself out there. And so I still get very nervous at it. I still have to really pay attention to my villains. So the book comes out, right? And I mean, just like it's like, hello, here we go. This is a whole new level. And, the villains still come up, the fraudulent Franks, the perfect Portias, the no good Neds, the comparison Connies. And it's just a constant, never ending intention to stay committed to my calling so that commitment is 1 degree louder than the villains. And as long as that happens, I
100%.
keep moving more forward. Yeah.
And that little the awareness, that little moment, that little being standing in that place right at the edge of our comfort zone, as I always say, that's where the magic is, that's where the expansion is, and that's where the pixie dust lives, because there's actually a different kinetic, energetic transmission and reception when we're just past the edges. It makes us highly magnetic. It's also
Mhm.
one of the most captivating places to meet our audience because they can feel it when we're doing brave things,
Yeah.
right? They can
Yeah.
feel it, and it's very inspiring.
And Anita just said in the comments, she's like, I have a hard time with that introvert when it's my intention to speak, right? And one of the things that I have found, and I really had to do this almost on a daily basis while I was writing the book, and especially when it got released and people started reading it and sending me selfies and review all this stuff. I had to really remember when I put myself first, I get so overwhelmed and
Yeah,
nervous and the villains get loud. But when I can keep my reader or my student or my audience or
always.
that coach, that if they get one nugget from this, I've left them better than when I found them, I can overcome my nerves. I can overcome that because I'm staying committed to what's, again, that commitment is 1 degree louder.
I call that tool of permission, right? It's a
Yeah.
tool of permission. And if you are one step ahead of anyone, you can reach a hand back
Yeah.
and bring them with you. And so using that, it's really powerful to do that for people on video. If they're worried about being video, the camera alone, a little black circle in a room talking to myself is weird. But if
Yeah.
you can start to transmit and say, I will show up and I will continue to expand through my own nervousness
Yeah.
on behalf of the other, it's an incredible tool. And on the other side of that, there's this whole nother pool of permission that you can have to say, I share my calling because I'm called.
Yeah.
But the way
And it's my
through, yeah,
responsibility. Like oh my gosh,
exactly.
I've been given this. I have to do this. You talk about the camera. We're so going off topic, but maybe it's perfectly on topic,
We
but
will come
whatever.
back. We will come back.
Marketing for me, like writing copy, email, whatever it is, that was not a natural gift. Like coaching, natural gift. Speaking, natural gift. Writing a copy, not a natural gift. And so I would have to get my Post-it notes out and I would put people's names. I'm like, okay, I'm writing this copy for Joanne, for Tom,
Love.
for Tina,
So
for
good.
William. And so I'm like, okay, I'm writing this for them. And when I first started, I don't have to do it anymore, but when I first started doing videos, I would literally, I would take my Post-it note and I would write 2 or 3 names and I would stick it right
Yes,
next to the camera. So it's like, I'm not speaking to a black hole. I'm speaking as if Joanne is sitting in my living room with me, or I'm speaking
100%.
and so that's like, do that stuff, like whatever you got to do to keep it top of mind so that you keep mastering the marketing skills. And then the
Yeah,
third
and
thing,
really marketing is sharing your message. Marketing is so what we talk about over here is your marketing and your messaging feeling as good as the work that you love to
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Building that bridge, which is what you're talking about owning the coach approach, right? And
mhm,
and giving voice to it. But then there's some things that we need to know how to do and how to say to
yeah,
position and to get better at that and to get more confident about that.
yeah,
Thank you for taking a little visibility detour with me. It means the
yeah.
world to me. I love that. And Anita's typing in the tool of permission was helpful for her. So shall we jump back into what is the third thing we need to
Yeah.
know?
So the third thing to master is the business of coaching. We cannot overlook that. And here's what usually happens: a coach will often, uh, more times than not, they have been in a job or been doing something else in their life. They experienced powerful transformation. They discovered these skills or their gift, and they're like, I'm going to start a business. The thing that we all love is coaching. We love helping other people. And so that skill, that gift says, how can I do more of this gift? I love this gift. I love when I do this gift. And so we're like, okay, how do we do this? We have to find more people to coach. So how do I find clients? And so that becomes the question. That's
Oh, we froze a little bit. Hopefully we'll come right back.
I'm still
Okay,
here.
one more second. It's catching up. It's
Okay.
catching up. All right.
We good? Are we
You're back.
back?
Okay,
Okay.
good. We were on pins and needles there. Like, so what? Rewind.
So just to make sure, let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
So with our as a hobbyist, our enthusiasm, our passion of our skill has us saying, how can I do more of this? And so we're asking the question, well, let me go get clients because then I can coach more people, because I love coaching. It's so amazing. And I love helping people. And I love to see when they have those aha moments and get results.
Mhm.
And so the hobbyist is asking the question, how do I get more clients so that I can do my gift?
Yeah.
And if we do that, we catapult ourselves into a reactionary mode, because
Oh,
then
that's
it's like,
brilliant.
what do I need to
Yeah.
get clients? And as soon as you do that, you're in reactionary mode. And you're like, because most of the people that I encounter, they've never been entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They really didn't really set out to be entrepreneurs. Most of them had a job. And so they have an employee mindset. And that employee mindset says, I just want to do my thing. I love my thing. I'm good at my thing. I just want to
Yeah.
do that thing. But when you make the commitment to have a business, you have to pause on your passion for just a brief moment. And you have to say, how can I create a system that's going to get me clients all the time that I can help and serve?
Yeah.
And that's the business of coaching. What do I need behind the scenes to help me talk about what I do, to help me find those people that want to listen, to help me engage those people that are interested so that I can convert them, take their money, get paid by them, support them, help them get results, and then collect referrals. Because there are hundreds and hundreds of things that are behind the scenes that are required so that you can keep coaching on a regular basis. But what happens is that new coach will say, how do I get clients? Wrong question. How do I create a business and a system that will help me get those and serve those clients? That's the business owner question. So we have to remember, got to put on the business owner hat to ask that question, because when we do and we set up the infrastructure and the systems, then we'll be coaching however much you want to be coaching.
Exactly. Thank you for saying it that way too, because sometimes you'll be like, I don't need a 7-figure business. I don't need a multi 6-figure. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
No.
sustained opportunity to do what you love, right? And having that business infrastructure supporting you. The other thing that comes to mind when you're from what you're saying about the business of coaching is I had a business. I had a studio in New York City for 10 years, here in Portland for 10 years, and I struggled my butt off because I didn't market. I didn't want to market. I didn't want to do that. I was a teacher and a mentor, and I was changing people's lives for, $190 a month, and struggling always to fill that because of my reluctance to say this is a business. I actually want this business to generate revenue and support me in doing what I love. And that's also how I get to be up at the front of that business. And so it leads me to this other thing that I see so often about when we don't treat it as a business and we don't make the investment that we need, we burn out and we get frustrated and discouraged. And it's really hard to keep being visible because we feel like we're doing everything and we can't get the result that we want. And it's so important, so when somebody is going to go open, I always use a pizza shop. My kids love pizza, right? If you're going to open a pizza shop, you have to have flour and an oven and some sauce and some cheese and a place to, have people come and get
register and
cash register. And you also need a marketing budget, right? But because we're in this intangible, it's just all you need to be a coach is a phone and a way to take money, right? Kind of mentality. Then I see people struggle with, well, I've already invested so much, or I can't, I have to get some clients and then I can invest in my business.
That's a dangerous pitfall right there.
It is. It is. So stepping in and choosing to have this be a business. That was my epiphany about 8 years ago. I was exhausted and I'd been trying, avoiding all those real business things and kind of negating all the lessons I'd learned too. And so taking it, seriously to a point where I was like, it was a whole level of commitment. And for me, ended up being something that I was still playing small.
And it's interesting. You said it earlier, it doesn't have to be 6-figure or 7-figure or whatever.
It kind of does have to be 6-figure.
Well, it depends. Like for me, when I started as a hobbyist. Not ever did I ever want to be an entrepreneur or have my own business, like not ever. And I loved being an employee. I loved the safety of my paycheck. I loved that I didn't have to bear the burden of anything. I did my job. I went home and it was easy. And so I just started coaching as a hobbyist, and I was like, you know what, if I coach, awesome. If I don't, fine. If I make money, holy crap, that's awesome. If I don't, no big deal. Cause it fit around my job and my paycheck. Right. But when I got fired and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this hobby and it's going to be a business. My goal was to replace my income. I was making $50,000 a year. I just want to make $50,000 a year. That was my business. That was what having a business meant to me. And it also reminds me of Renee, one of our clients. She's already retired from her work, but she's an amazing coach. She's like, I am called. I have to do this. I don't want it to just be a hobby. I want it to be a business because I want to be intentional and structured about it. But she and her husband are not lately because of the pandemic, but they travel. And she's like, I want to have just enough income to help support my travel desires and to supplement it and to fit around our travel schedule. So, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're only making $30,000 a year to supplement an existing lifestyle. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's $75,000. Maybe you do want to break past 6 figures or go for $1 million. it doesn't matter the degree that how many clients or how much money you make, but if you want to have a structured business where you can have consistent, reliable income, whatever level you want, and a steady stream of clients, whatever that means to you, then there are certain systems and certain things that you have to have in the back end. You'll just do them a lot simpler early on. And the more you scale and grow, it's just the more you optimize those same systems and structures. But there are core systems that every business has to have. Otherwise, stop arguing with yourself and just have a hobby and be okay with that, because that's fine too.
I love that. I love that. Super clarifying. And I think that what I'm seeing is the people who are like, this is my business. They want it to be like a source of like their primary source of income for their lives, and that they can get frustrated. And I know I undervalued and didn't set up systems and spun around in that. I felt, depleted, so depleted. So that if we do want to generate a revenue that can support our family and have a consistent, as you're saying, stable platform to do that, I know that this is like a foundational beginners and beyond guide to avoid a ton of mistakes that are going to cost us time and money. It was so powerful to read so many of the things. Like I said, I'm about 2/3 the way through. And the other thing we were going to talk about, I know we're a little over time and I know you have other things going on. So the other thing we're going to talk about, I know, is in this book. So I'm going to let people know what I was going to ask, and then they can go get this book. You can get this book for free only. Melinda's book is available just through Monday, right?
Yeah, just through Monday.
For a few days, you can download or access this book for free. It's super powerful. If this has resonated with you, please do that. I'm going to give folks the link. First of all, we'll put it right here under the screen so that you can go to confidentcoachbook.com/voice to your vision, just voice, and download. Access your copy of this book. It's really full of what I loved, Melinda, as I'm reading through, is it's so clear and it's so well organized, and so step by step, and packed with value and stuff that I wish, like I said, I had known 8 years ago. So one of the other things I was going to ask you about that I saw in the book are the 7 success structures every coaching business needs. So I do encourage you to jump over and download Melinda's book in order to find out what those are. If you're here and I see we have a few people watching live, definitely let us know that you've been here. If this has been valuable for you and you know other coaches who would benefit from this, please bring them back here. Share the link to this training. It's on YouTube. It's on our Facebook business page. And if you have any questions for me or for Melinda, I will make sure that she gets those around anything that we've covered today. Is there anything I would love to just ask you, 2 things, I think. What is your wish for this book? What is your wish for this book? And then if you have any final thoughts that you really want people to take away from today.
My wish for the book and for all the work that I've done is, you have this skill, this gift, this calling in you. Being a great coach is one thing that comes naturally to you. Being a business owner may not come as naturally. Doesn't mean you have to struggle with it. And that's been my life's work, is to make it simple for you to say, I want to have a business, and then here's the path to follow. Because I truly believe that you are the leaders that the world needs. We just got to get your shit organized so you have a sexy back end so you can get out and do your work and what you're meant to do in this world. We don't have time to waste. So I do break it down and make it simple. Those 7 success systems that she was just talking about, find them in chapter 7. And when you download the book, I'm going to send you other resources. I'm going to send you the roadmap to success. So you'll have, I truly want to make this as simple as possible so you can feel as confident as possible and have the most fun. You should be enjoying your journey in setting up your business. This should be the adventure of a lifetime. And I hope that the book gives you at least one nugget to make your journey a little easier and more fun.
Awesome. Awesome. I know that it will, having looked through it already and being almost finished. Any other parting thoughts for our beloved coaches on the way out of our interview time?
When you can build a better business, you can be a better coach, and you can bring all of you to serve your clients and make the impact that you're meant to make. And I believe in you. And I just thank you for doing that, your work that you're doing. Keep doing it.
Yes, keep going, get the supports you need. This is a part of that. If you have a coaching business, or you're starting a coaching business, or you're wanting to grow your coaching business, there's a whole bunch of really important and powerful stuff for you inside the book. And I can't wait to figure out what else you got, other goodies coming. So I'm going to check my inbox and load up on those. I adore you. I adore the eloquence and your approach. And it means the world to have you here. Thank you for jumping in and sharing this message. I know that there's so many people here that are hungry for it. They're maybe overwhelmed or a little burnt out on trying to make it go. The world, as you said, changed so fast, and there's so much noise online, and there's so much going on. To have this steady, simple, clear, straightforward way for more people to do what they're called to do, that's actually uplifting and creating the world that you want to live in, and helping people that are looking for what you're here to bring, means the world to me. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Go get the book, you guys. Follow and find Melinda's goodness. She has so much resources and tools for us to benefit from. And thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thank you.